As a journalist with a relatively small following, or minuscule following by YouTube standards, it isn't all that often I find emails in my inbox from developers looking for me to take a look at their game. More often than not, it is I who is contacting them. But when I do receive such emails, it is always exciting to see what kind of game it is, and every once in a while, I get one that is an absolute indie gem. And the game we're looking at today is one such game. Type Night is a typing game developed and published by indie developer Chaikadev. It released on Steam October 25th, 2019 for PC. Type Night is a small and short game, but what it offers is a simple yet solid and highly polished experience that will keep you hooked for longer than you will ever expect. In Type Night, you take on the role of a knight who, after travelling for several days, finally arrives at a seemingly infinite cemetery filled with the reanimated dead. You will purge this place of evil or die trying. The plot to Type Night is extremely simple, but throughout the gameplay there are intervals where light plot progression occurs through small text passages, there being 20 in total. While the plot is nothing complex or massively engaging, it is always interesting to see such intervals where the plot does progress, as you get insight into the mind of the knight and how his quest is affecting him the further he progresses. It is a nice little touch that not only gives you a moment to rest your fingers, but also subtly gives the knight a bit of personality. It certainly won't blow you away, but of what plot there is, it is interesting and helps the player become somewhat attached to the character they control. The objective of Type Night is to survive as long as you can in your quest to purge the evil and obtain as many points as you can in the process. How this is done is that as enemies appear on the screen, you need to type the word above their heads in order for the knight to attack and kill them. The more enemies you kill without being hit or before the combo timer runs out, the higher your combo will be and the more points you will gain per enemy defeated. The further you progress in the game, the bigger the words you need to type get. That is pretty much the objective of the game, to obtain as many points as possible in a run. It is good old fashioned score hunting where you attempt to get as high a score as possible and then attempt to beat it in the next run. It is fun and simple. It certainly doesn't have the complexity of other typing games, but there is a bit more to Type Night than just typing the word and killing enemies. As you progress through the previously mentioned plot intervals, new mechanics are introduced into the game. Firstly, you gain a new power that acts as an ultimate attack that kills anything in front of you. This is great for getting out of a tight spot where you are being overwhelmed. You can only use this power up to 3 times, but you can gain more uses which I will get into shortly. This new power is activated by choosing your own 4-letter word of activation that you get to choose upon receiving it. What word you choose is entirely up to you. The one issue with this is that you can put more than 4 letters in for your word of activation, but put any more than 4 in and it won't work. This is probably just a minor bug, but one that should be fixed as it does cause confusion until you figure it out. The second new mechanic is the shield. This is introduced to defend yourself against a new enemy type, which is a wraith that throws ethereal chains at you, dealing massive damage. How this works is that as the wraith is getting ready to attack you, a red word will appear above the knight's head. You need to type this word for the knight to hold up the shield and block the attack. While blocking, however, you cannot attack while your shield is up, or it will cancel the action. So there's a certain amount of tactics when using the shield, which gives the combat a bit of complexity, as timing is everything. Wraiths can only be damaged after their attack is blocked and reflected back upon them. The shield is also needed to defeat the boss of the game, which I won't spoil. While these are the only 2 new mechanics that are introduced during the progression of the game, they nevertheless add new elements to heighten the excitement of the combat and give it extra challenge and variation to a constant onslaught of skeletons. It really catches it off guard at first, and it is great fun and quite intense the first time you encounter a wraith and attempt to figure out how to beat it. It is a clever design that brings the gameplay to a whole new level, all the while keeping things relatively simple. Throughout your journey you will find chests that can be opened. These chests hold potions for health restoration, runes that give you an additional ultimate attack use, and gold, which is an increase to your score. You will only gain gold from a chest if you have all 3 of your ultimate attack uses and full health. It is great that you can regain health and ultimate attack uses, but what I love is the fact that the better you play, the more you're rewarded from the perspective of gold and increasing your score. The higher your combo is, the more points you gain from gold too. So the better you play, the more points you will gain, making the gold in the chest rewarding. There are 3 difficulty settings in Type Night. The first is Spelling Squire, which is easy. The second is Calligraphy Calavier, which is normal, and the third is Palindrome Paladin, which is hard. The difficulty settings change how fast the words increase in letter size, along with how many enemies appear in each wave. Easy is for those who are not quite as experienced at speed typing, while normal is for those who are quite good at it. Hard, on the other hand, is for those that are absolute typing wizards. Unless you can type at an extremely fast pace with utmost accuracy, you won't get very far on this difficulty setting. Having the settings is a great idea, as it allows for players of all experience levels to play the game. whether you are completely new to the genre or a master. Type Night has a difficulty setting that will cater to you. That is about it when it comes to what Type Night has to offer from the main gameplay. However, there are customizable options too with the game. Through the main menu you're able to start a custom game. How this works is that you place your own scripts and dictionaries into the game by placing a piece of text or words into a notepad text file, and then putting that file into the text folder in the game. Once you've done this, you'll be able to load your custom script to the game. As an example, I copied the script of this review into Notepad and put the text file into the game's text folder, and as you can see, it worked perfectly. This allows you to make any script that you wish, the lyrics of your favourite song, your favourite poem, a list of your favourite movies, whatever you want, anything is possible. There are a few things to keep in mind however. Firstly, there are two game mode types. The first is normal, which will take the words randomly according to the size from the text file. The second is the script flow. This mode follows the script down to a T, meaning that the word generator follows the script word by word. If you have a dictionary list, it will generate the words one by one in order from top to bottom as opposed to the size of the words. The plot intervals of the game will only work in normal mode, while script flow is supposed to act as a story of its own, and plot intervals are disabled. Other things to keep in mind is that all full stops, capital letters and other punctuation that are in the script will transfer over to the game too, with some not registering at all. So you do need to ensure there are none in the script, and it is best to keep capital letters out too, as it makes things a lot harder. The custom game option is a great little addition to the game that allows you to place pretty much any form of script that you want into the game, despite its few restrictions. It is a bit finicky, but does the exact job that it is intended to, and is bound to give you plenty of additional playtime with the game as you experiment with it. As a whole, the gameplay to Type Night, despite some issues with the custom options of the game, is rock solid. It is intense, it is well polished, and most of all it is a heap of fun. It certainly doesn't have the complexity of other games like Typing of the Dead or Fishing Cactus's Epistory and their upcoming Nanotel Typing Chronicles, but nevertheless it is a solid game that any fan of typing games will enjoy and should definitely try. If there was anything I would have an issue with, it would be that if you make a mistake with a word while typing, you do need to backspace, which greatly slows you down. An option to wipe out the word completely would be great. Perhaps making it when you press the enter key, it clears anything you have typed, allowing you to start the word from scratch. The other issue some will have with the game is the resolution. By default, the game's resolution is 816 by 720. It can be scaled up a bit more than that, but not a whole lot. Also, there is no full screen option either. This may be a problem for some players, but it doesn't take away from the experience. Regardless, it is something to keep in mind. Other than that, however, it is a great little game that is worth checking out. The atmosphere to Type Night is great. Throughout the whole game you get that sense of being in this dark place where evil lurks at every corner and the nightmare will never truly end. To fit in with this is a fantastic soundtrack that not only keeps with the retro visuals but also the knight, his quest and the general horror theme that's running through it. The soundtrack consists of a number of different tracks that each symbolise the different themes running through the atmosphere. The sense of adventure, the horror theme of the monsters and the setting, the bravery of the knight and a sense of hope. It truly is a game that is brimming with various themes and emotion. It is those themes and emotion that make the world of Type Night feel alive, and it is that which helps make the game so engaging. We have all heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. When it comes to Type Night, that saying couldn't be any truer. It may not look like much from the store page and screenshots, but under that rough-edged first impression is an extremely solid game. This isn't a game that's development was half-assed. It has a ton of care and passion put into it, as is evident of the fantastic pixel art, soundtrack, gameplay and atmosphere. Type Night is an absolute indie gem. It may have a few issues here and there, but overall Type Night is a solid game that is definitely worth giving a go if the concept or gameplay interests you in any way. It is a game that proves the most enjoyable things in life are sometimes the most simple. And with that, I give Type Night an 8 out of 10. I honestly haven't played much in the way of typing games before, but Type Night certainly has made me enamoured with the idea of the genre. You can be sure I'll be on the lookout for other such games in the future. But until then, you can be sure I'll be making regular returns to Type Night.